This will be a debunk proving that any gun bans are unconstitutional in the US and that Dems violate our gun rights constantly. The fascist Dems openly want us disarmed, and any and all gun bans, and including bans against their accessories, are also unconstitutional, minus like certain instances with grenade launchers, which are like classified as destructive devices under federal law, and they like require special registration, heavy restrictions, and often outright bans. Now, by pushing any gun bans whatsoever, and even any and all bans on their accessories, you spread anti-American rhetoric that directly threatens our American rights and our U.S. Constitution, which says that you shall not be infringed, and our accessories such as magazines and suppressors are core to that right. Brew in 2022 made it clear that any ban must be historically rooted. Now, the Supreme Court just struck down California's assault-style weapon ban last month, and no founding era analog exists for banning guns such as AR-15s or high-capacity mags. As for suppressors, the ATF's 2023 rule that reclassified them as NFA items was slapped down by Texas courts, now on the way to SCOTUS. It's all just Democrat code for confiscation. They'll start with bump stocks and then move on to pistols with braces, then anything black and scary. They make you wait, jump through hoops, and tax you with registrations until owning a gun, or especially a suppressor, costs insane amounts. It's not safety, it's control. Now, the bottom line is that you cannot ban arms without banning the U.S. Constitution, essentially. Democrats constantly win against our Constitution, and in many ways, going against our due rights. Democrats were very open about it. They were open about acting upon stripping our guns. Now, in my opinion, I think that everyone should have a gun, or at least in every house in this country. I think that the more guns, the better. I think that some of the safest and happiest countries on this planet, such as Switzerland and Scandinavia, who really have more guns than people nearly, I mean, they're safer, they are better off. We should, in my opinion, maybe have mandatory training for all gun owners here. Preferably put a gun in every house, man. Just put forced training, minimal rules, no extremes, and with definite more focus on rehab, healthcare, and mental health. Mass shootings and crime would likely go down because people would be scared to do anything when everybody is armed. Dems are the real fascists when it comes to guns, and they have gone full on tyrant. Kamala Harris, she pushed California's assault weapon ban, and she cheered red flag raids where cops bust down doors on hearsay, no judge, no crime, just that you might be dangerous. That's fascism, and that is disarming you before you do anything. Biden signed the bump stock rule, criminalizing what you own overnight. Newsom wants to confiscate rifles and registers ammos like Nazis did the Jews. Schumer's bill would outlaw ARs outright, with nearly 30 million Americans labeled as like terrorists. President Trump's pro-gun, and he is even rolling back bans that the Democrats put in place, and he's making less restrictions for gun owners. He is bringing back better improvements and changes to rehab, jails, mental health care, police, homelessness, drugs, crime, theft, etc. We are way better off. Stuff is actually getting done and changing for the better and not for the worse. Mental health was out of control. Many of our systems and way of life were out of control. Now, Zohram Mamdani posted on X Social on the 24th of May 2022 that we need to ban all guns, and you can still go to view it for yourself. It is still there. Dictator deep state judges that need impeached, passed, and expanded gun control measures that ignore the Second Amendment defenses. I say it now, and I will say it again and again and again. Try to take my guns and AR-15s, and you won't like what you get in return. This is America, bud. California alone, hundreds of violations against the U.S. Constitution, just talking guns alone, not to mention in other forms and many styles. And I'm still only just talking about California. The biggest problems with gun violence are lack of focus, care, healthcare, mental health focus, rehab, and cleaning up crime. Every time a shooting happens, y'all want to ban guns and issue more gun control, which is just pathetic and will not solve the issue whatsoever. Banning guns is words of war to Americans who heavily back the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment protects the right to bear arms. Assault-style weapons are effective for self-defense, crucial to stand against larger firepower and government overreach, crucial for places like with bears and wild boars. Banning them restricts individual liberty. Assault style is a vague, subjective term. Criminals will ignore bans while the government disarms the law abiding citizens. Firearms are used defensively millions of times yearly, saving countless lives. They are critical for repelling foreign invasions, and hunting with assault style weapons is common, and they're also tools for sport shooting and competition. Bans do not address root causes of gun violence. Firearm ownership needs respect and direct personal responsibility. The U.S. government should not dictate self defense options. Now, historical precedent supports broad firearm rights, and over the past 2 decades, California has been a hotbed for laws and policies that trample the U.S. Constitution, pushing an agenda that erodes fundamental rights. Since 2005, the state has rolled out aggressive gun control measures like the 2007 expansion of assault weapons and then later concealed carry restrictions, which gut the Second Amendment. That leaves law abiding citizens defenseless against rising crime. They aren't just regulations, they are deliberate assaults on the right to bear arms and forcing people to navigate a maze of restrictions while criminals ignore them. California was a destroyed, failed, invaded, overflowed, overpriced hellhole that was pumped full of drugs, crime, theft, homelessness, gangs, cartels, and more. Their children are stripped from their parents for misgendering. Squatters steal your home and you can't do much about it. Rapists and serial killers go unchecked while druggies shoot up fentanyl in front of elementary schools. I will do a whole article and video on Newsom in California soon. Guns are important because tyrants, dictators, and Hitler-likes are rampant throughout human history. War, the unknown, hunting for survival, aliens, terrorists, any threat. Any criminal or nut can make explosives or drive a truck or make a sword. Then what? Citizens are left defenseless like fish in a barrel for the predator to do as they please. In the UK, acid attacks and knifings are way up, and acid's worse in my opinion. And I'd rather get shot than get sliced up, preferably, if it was an option. As for selling guns, the Trump administration rolled back Biden's nanny state export bans in September of 2025, which restored first term rules that let U.S. manufacturers ship civilian firearms abroad legally. That raked in hundreds of millions for American jobs without arming cartels, and that's per the Commerce's BIS announcement and also Reuters coverage. No personal sales, no scandals, just pro Second Amendment moves like settling on forced reset triggers in May, which courts already greenlit as non-machine guns, ditching ATF overreach that Giffords called a backroom deal out of sour grapes. This is fiscal sanity, not fascism on President Trump's part. The left is just mad the wallet is finally closing on their endless grifts. We want to see honest change involving gun violence. We need serious action, not just thoughts and prayers, not banning guns, not doing things that just aren't going to work, all right? We need serious action. We need to make our schools safer. I don't know if that's by arming teachers, putting bars on doors, making windows in classrooms that can open for everybody to escape. I don't know. Those might be stupid ideas, but at least it's something. I think that we need to be doing a lot more to protect. We need, I mean, we have schools full of defenseless children, and we just enable them to be targeted while somebody just shoots them. We need better. We need to better our healthcare, our rehab, our jails, our systems, and make our jails more like Switzerland, where we're not just putting people in cells to get worse, therefore. It's supposed to be rehab to get better. I mean, if you want to see serious action involving guns and gun violence and changes in that territory, we need serious action, and we need it now. And it's not banning guns, it's not restrictions and putting more wait times on guns and red flag laws and all that nonsense. It's simple action involving like putting fences around schools, and making sure that we have we know the warnings, man. A lot of these shooters, they do post online for like a year or so. They have tons of warnings. We should have known a lot of these were going to happen before they happened, and yet we didn't. And I blame Democrats on that for the lack of caring, their enabling of crime, and all that. Democrats of all kinds are open and willing about stripping our guns and our constitutional rights that surround them. Let me know your thoughts. For now, take care.